All right. So, good evening to all, and welcome to all my dear friends as a students, and my dear friend Mr. Ash Chetan Kaka, who is a speaker for the day. He is going to guide us, how to crack his chartered accountancy course, CFA course, MBA course. When we meet students of Mithai College, NM College, and many other college of commerce, someone says, I want to become a chartered accountant. The other one says, I want to become an MBA from IIM. The third one says, no, I want to go for the CFA. Now, here is a person who has a combination of all three. All three, the best of best, world class global professional degree, Mr. Ash Chetan Kaka, ex alumni of Nathimonji College, is having. And I hand over this session to our staff chartered accountant faculty, Ashish Garg from our Mithibai College. He is going to introduce speaker, and then he will hand over to us not to wait. And once his speech gets over, feel free to ask whatever questions he has. He is like one among us only, so I don't feel distant between us and ourselves. Yeah, Ashish, please continue.
Yeah. Good evening, everybody, and thank you, sir, for handing me. So we welcome first of all Ars Chetan Kakka. Okay, he is an alumni of Narsi Monji College. In sec- in 12th standard, he got 90%. After that, he started pursuing his CA. He cleared his CA CPT with a sixth rank all over India. It's a big achievement. It's not that easy to get rank at a CA level. Then he cleared all three levels of CA in first attempt. He did his articleship from BDO. Yeah, just a second. Just a second. Yeah, he did his articleship from BDO. It's a well-known CA firm from where he has done his 3 years articleship. Then after that, he had completed his CFA. Again, all three levels in first go. Superb. Then he was an intern with India Nivesh Corporate Finance. Then he was doing his job with 7i Advisors. But why all these things? Because he was very clear with his goal that he has to do MBA, and that too from a prestigious institute in India, IIM Bangalore. Okay, so whatever he was doing, it was very clear that he's pursuing his goal. Then at IIM Bangalore, in the first year itself, he was among top five, for which he was awarded a scholarship of 2 lakh rupees. Again, kudos to Arsh Chetan Kakka. Then this is also not sufficient, my friends. You might think, भैया ये बंदा तो पढ़ता ही रहता है. नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है. He is a really super football lover, and his achievements doesn't stop here. He was a gold medalist in Interform football tournament. Okay, so that is, and he's really love watching football. Soccer means इनको रात को भी कोई उठा के बोलेगा अभी मैच है, he will be ready to see the soccer. So just see, my friends, a very good student. Okay, career clear, very very clear about his career. Okay, and clear about hobbies. Okay, so now I hand over the platform to Mr. Harsh Chetan Kakka. Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for the introduction, professors. Thank you very much for being here and giving me this opportunity. Always great to come back to NM and Mitibai, where it all started for me actually after school. So yeah, hi guys. Thanks a lot for keeping the videos on so it does not look like I'm just speaking in front of a blank computer screen. Uh, Very great to see your faces. Very good. Just give me a second. I'll start sharing the content that I have. Uh, yeah, I hope you're able to see the screen, right? Yeah.
Yes,
Yes,
we.
yes, we can see.
Thank you. Thank
Yes.
you. I'll just present. Yeah. So yeah, hi. I am Ash. Completed my chartered accountancy, completed my CFA level 3, and currently pursuing my MBA from IIM Bangalore. So starting, this is basically my timeline. Completed my class 10th in 2012 from DSRV. Then got into NM in 2014, IPCC, CFA level 1. So I started CFA level 1 um, ideally in the first year of my articleship itself. So what it does is that you can start your CFA level 1 when you're in the final year of your BCom. So between 2016 and 17, I was in my final year of BCom. So that's when I started my CFA. Tried to go for it a bit earlier so that I complete it within time. 2017, completed my BCom from NM, then had a CFA level 2. And 2018, I had a CA final in May and my CFA L3 in June. So in that 1 month, I had to prepare for my L3. By then, I was a bit clear about the. So it's like during my articleship, I was a bit clear that I don't want to pursue the normal CA kind of work experience that people get, and I wanted to diversify myself. Started looking out for opportunities into investment banking. Um, Not having a rank and not being an engineer or not having campus placements as such, that actually did not land me a job directly as an analyst. Had to work around a bit for like around 3 to 4 months as an intern, and then I cracked into the analyst role at one of the bigger mid-sized players in India in Mumbai. So Seven Capital was where I did my analyst role from for a year. Worked there for a year. Gave him a cat in 2019. Um, got got a good score, and being a chartered accountant, being from a commerce background, diversity is very well respected at IIMs. That helped me get into IIM Bangalore, and then it starts my journey. Yeah. So I just request you, if you guys have a pen and paper around, a notebook around, just to jot down some points, because um, some tidbits of intrinsic knowledge will be covered in what I speak, and might not be reflected clearly in the PPT itself. Okay. So yeah, here we go. So yeah, I see many of you would be looking forward to clearing a CA and CFA. There is no golden duck to click to cracking these two exams. Um, the CA course, I would say, is generally methodical and very much practice based. Consistent preparation will get you there. So I know your professors might be harping on this fact, and you would be like, यार अभी से नहीं, थोड़ा टाइम के बाद शुरू करते हैं, लाइक फाइनल दूर है या CPT दूर है, IPCC दूर है. But what I've seen is that consistently preparing for your exams definitely helps. It helps in the way that it makes you a bit stronger, and it avoids the work burden at the end. This would help me. So second point, taking notes. Definitely, yeah, taking notes, making shorthand, keeping your papers ready uh, quickly helps you revise very quickly. Actually, within those 1.5 days, 2 days, whatever you get in between, it's the best way to go through everything. Like 100% of your syllabus is there with you on the notes written by you. So once you start revising those notes, you'll be able to recognize at what point of time you studied that, what points did you study on that particular page, etc. So prioritizing and conquering. This is one thing that people miss. Okay, uh, or they overanalyze stuff, or they miss it completely. What is required actually here, in my opinion, is that you find a midway between these two things. Okay, 100% of your course coverage and prioritizing what is the most important. So you might have learned ABC costing and stuff like that. That really helps here. Uh, Classifying your syllabus into these three buckets: what you want to tackle, what's difficult for you, what you want to work on, etc. Um, this actually helped me during my CA and CFA exams both. For example, if I give you during my audit paper, what I knew in CA is that once you know standards of counting, standards of auditing very well, you can tackle each and every question in your own way. It does not matter that you write to the point whatever is given in the text, but you will be able to tackle it very easily if you know the essays, basically. Going further, solving papers. Yeah, there's no alternative to this actually. CPT, it's very easy to just go and tick mark one out of the four given things. Sorry, that during my time. Now even you have CPT written. This is what I think. And IPCC and final again. Solving questions, solving papers would give you the speed that is required. CA final. So I'll talk about CA final as your end goal, right? I mean, IPC definitely you need to clear, but that's your end goal. That is CA final. You definitely need some kind of speed, some kind of clarity while solving the sums. So these two aspects get captured while solving papers in time. The last two are very intrinsic, like be cool during exams. This is one thing that I missed during my IPCC. I cracked a bit after my audit paper about my after my audit paper about my accounting paper. So after my fourth paper, I cracked about my first paper, and that affected my fifth paper. So this is something that I hope that does not happen with you guys. Stay cool, stay focused. Things you learn through mistakes, but if there's someone else who had already made that mistake on your part, you can learn from him. So that's the smart work there. And the last but not the least is trust what you know. It is again, so both of them, the subheading for both of them have been kept the same. It is because you should be strong enough to trust what you have learned, what you have prepared till that date. What happens is that during papers or before that, you panic as to यार ये cover नहीं किया, वो छूट गया, इसने तो ये सब पढ़ लिया है. Definitely talk to your friends, talk to people around. So yeah, that was cracking CA and CFA in short. If you have some questions about CA CFA, we'll take it at the end. Now, yeah, guys, I'd like you to be a bit interactive here. And maybe go to menti.com. You can see, right? You can see my code there, 89154114, or you can scan this QR code. Are you there, guys? Can somebody? Yeah. Yeah. So can we start answering? Possible?
So, sir, can you show the code?
Yeah, it's on the top of your screen, 89154114. Yeah, no, sir, I'm Arsh. Sorry, I should have clarified earlier. In this question, I've assumed that you know what these fields mean. If you do not, please feel free to unmute and ask me. Anybody facing problem with logging into Menti, you can just go to the website and you can type in this code there. It's quite simple. You're able to vote, right? I can see you guys voting. Yeah, I can see it in normal time. I'll wait for one minute more. The clock strikes 49. We'll move forward. We have a good number of votes here coming. Thank you for being interactive, guys. Thank you, guys. Can someone unmute and tell me what do they understand by accounts and finance? What do they want to go? I mean, what's their basically? Do you want to practice chartered accountancy? Do you want to get into something related? Like, what's your take on that? Someone who voted for accounts and finance? You guys can hear me, right? Hi.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are perfectly audible. Okay.
Yeah,
Students, please reply your line of interest and what do you think? It is not here your marks will go. You are free to speak. Please speak. You open up. You have to talk. This is the forum where you can talk. Please go ahead.
Yeah, just to clarify, I just want to keep it as an informal discussion. Just don't take it as a PPT or something to talk to me, man.
Can you just repeat the question once?
Yeah. Like someone who voted for accounts and finance, what do you understand by that thing? What do you understand by accounts and finance? Or maybe someone who voted for stock market, any of the fields that I have mentioned there. If anybody would like to go forward.
Can I try to answer that?
Sure, definitely. Why not?
I guess in accounts and finance, it might include a job of an analyst, financial analyst. In accountancy, it can include CA and other things as an auditor.
Correct. So yeah, I think the batch has an idea of what these job roles entail. Stock markets, anyone? Stock markets? Yeah, so I'll just take the cue for stock markets here. So stock markets what I tried to include was equity research. All the research reports that you get about a particular stock, all the buy sell recommendations, trading, etc. gets covered here. In M&A, generally an banking role, investment banking role, helping companies, assisting companies in completing their documentations, helping them merge, helping them take over. Also, to a bit, it covers venture financing. Then into management consulting. Sorry for spelling mistake there. Management consulting is a very niche field. You'll find companies such as BCG, Bain, McKinsey, Dalberg, or even the big fours do it. It is basically taking a case, taking a problem, and trying to solve that problem, getting a third-party view on that problem for your company. Then what I mean by general management, CEO, CFO track is your CEO, CFO track generally. It's basically general management. It's known as that, GenMan. So suppose you join Tata, they'll have you as Tata Administrative Services, so TAS. So you go through that entire program, and then they make you ready to take up business management roles across their businesses. Then other plans. Yeah, somebody who voted for other plans. Can you help me out with what do you mean by other plans? What plans do you have other than that? Entrepreneurship, etc. That's a very good role according to me.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to know, just get an idea about entrepreneurship after MBA.
Sure. So yeah, okay, I get that. I will touch upon that. Thank you for this. Let's just get a good view of what the batch wants. Let's go to the second one. I think your screens will now show the second question too. Can you just start voting for the second question? For the big question, actually, so being in NM or Metibai, you have loads of people around you doing chartered accountancy, okay, and even I assume as a fact that even these are your plans, doing a chartered accountancy. But the question is, what after CA? Is CA enough? Can you, in today's world, can you just go out and crack certain big ticket roles as a CA? So as a CA, I generally mean to include the majority of the CA population who do not hold ranks. Having a rank opens a completely new world, though. I would hope that you all get a rank. But yeah, this is to the masses. Whoever, like, what after CA? I didn't have a rank myself. Oh, cool. So yeah, I guess majority of the batch here has MBA plans, and can someone guide on other plans? But two people have voted for other plans. Okay, no worries. I assume it's entrepreneurship again. So yeah, thanks for this. I have a pretty good view of what the batch wants to do. Thank you again. Going further, let me start this thing again. Yeah. So the batch definitely wants to get into MBA. So yeah, this is basically the timeline. I'll take you through. This is one of the most critical aspects of the MBA journey, the examination timeline, and how do you get into an IIM. So September, However, don't take these dates as set in stone. Please check them on the websites and go accordingly. Generally, in and around September, you have the final deadline for the CAT registration. Then in November, you will have the CAT exam. That is the last week of November, last Sunday, I guess, last or second last Sunday. Then in December and Jan round, you'll have the raw scores for the exam released. So I think you know how the exam is conducted. 3 parts: English, maths, and reasoning. So these are the 3 broad topics. Uh, just a raw indication about the scores. Around 150 plus would get you around 98 percentile plus. And being a chartered accountant and being from the commerce background, 98% plus is generally good enough to crack IMB, IMA, and KLI. Okay, IMC does not call at 98. They want compulsorily 99 percentile or above. Okay, this has been the past trend. However, if you have an exceptionally good CV, an exceptionally good performance in your earlier years too, then you might even get a call. I would like to point out at this stage that there's a certain marks addition for girls, so that helps a lot. And the composite score, the score which they see at the end to gauge whether you are getting the interview call or not, is based upon an addition, a weighted average addition of your 10th marks, 12th marks, your professional exams marks, and your CAT score. So these 4 things generally get you a interview call. This interview calls, list of people who have qualified for the interview calls will start around January. Will start coming out around January, and you will get like around 2 to 3 weeks to interview before the interviews are actually held in the month of Feb. There's a disturbance, right? Because I'm hearing something. There's no disturbance at your end, I'm assuming. Yeah. Then in February, you'll have something known as the written ability test and the personal interviews. The written ability test, VAT, is generally an essay writing component of the entire composite score. They give you certain contemporary topics or certain topics related to what's happening in the world, and then they actually expect you to write basically a pager on that. This is graded. Take it to my word, this is graded, and this can make or break your IIM selection. A written ability test is very much important. Then next we move on to personal interviews, which will be conducted after the written ability test or before it, but during the same day generally. Personal interviews are one-on-one interactions with the IIM faculties. There'll be 2 to 3 people in the panel. You will be called in, you'll be asked certain questions, you'll be expected to take them through your life journey. And post that, they'll grade you on certain aspects. It's like any general interview. You'll have to prepare a lot for this. Then in May, the IIM selections are released. Whoever gets in based on the total composite score of everything till now. And then in July and August, the term starts. This is the timeline from starting CAT to going into getting a start at IIM. Now, why is this important? Okay, you need to time this very well. Time your preparation very well before the November exam. Generally, 2 to 3 months of preparation is enough. However, I'll touch on what to prepare next. But 2 to 3 months of preparation is enough. Some people take classes. I personally did not take classes because I didn't have the time. I was working then. Also, what is important to notice here is that there are other exams like GMAT. GMAT is generally for abroad, getting into MBAs abroad, and also for ISB in India. ISB goes with the GMAT score. There are 2 campuses of ISB. One is in Hyderabad, one is in Mohali. Then you have ZAT, which gets you into XLRI, and then you have NMAT for NM, NMIMS. So you could also look at these 3 exams along with your CAT. I personally would suggest that you check out what suits you, and then you go around making your schedule, preparation schedule, and the exam schedule, because both are important. Your your interviews should not clash with each other. However, talking personally, I was very much interested in an MBA from an IIM itself, so I did not even look at these three examinations. I just went for CAT. That was make or break basically. Going further, I'll just take you through how to crack the CAT. Okay, it is very important to crack it at your first go. Reading or studying anything twice, trust me, does not sound like a good idea to me. Personally, does not sound like a very good idea to me. Once you're done with this, it's great to be done with it. So step one is basically read and solve textbook once. So this is from a perspective that you haven't taken classes. Okay, you can definitely go for classes and you can follow their schedule, but this is from a perspective that you haven't taken classes. So start suggest to read, go online, do your own research as to what textbooks are there out in the market. One thing I am very much against is spoon feeding, because what spoon feeding does is it subdues the other person's ability to think for themselves. Once you are out there, you can definitely reach out to me for guidance, or anyone at IIM for guidance. They will definitely help you. But nobody will spoon feed you. Okay. So reading and solving textbook once. Okay, I would suggest to do it once because it's a waste of time. Trust me. What you should invest your time on is solving mock question papers. Try to solve as many mock question paper as possible. The method you should go around, sit down, take a 3-hour window, sit down, solve the entire paper from question 1 till the last question. Bring yourself in an examination setting. Use online question papers if possible, because that's how the exam will be. It will be on a computer, right? And after every examinations mock exam that you take, make it a point to analyze your mistakes after each paper. Okay, once you analyze your mistakes, you'll come to know where you lack, work on it, make it better, and then go on solving the next paper. Do not repeat the same mistake in the same question, same type of question twice. Okay, that's not making good use of your time. And trust me, this is the only way to go around with it. Go around with CAT and then repeat it like 40 times. Okay, 40 mock papers is not a huge thing, not a huge task to ask for when you're preparing for CAT, especially after you have gone through a rigorous CA or a CFA. Okay, trust me. 40 question papers will go around smoothly. You will take like 15 odd days to complete 30 papers, like 2 papers each day. Take a time out, do it, and be sure what you're doing and not to repeat that mistake. This is the only golden mantra for CAT. Trust me, this is the only golden mantra for CAT. I have seen people crack this CAT with this mantra like millions of times. Okay, all my friends at IIM have been using this, and I don't think there's a workaround for this. Even I use this. Everybody is using this method only. Okay, even you take classes, you do not take classes. Classes will solve part 1 and to some part of part 2. Okay, however, part 3 to 5 or part 2 to 5 is completely in your hands, and this is what you should prepare for. In going forward, what PI? Okay, written ability test and personal interviews. Reading, I cannot stress enough on this aspect. You have to start reading newspapers, online articles. It's very easy now to get information online in this data age. The only excuse you do not have for not knowing the thing is that you were not keen enough. Okay, you have data on your hands, you have to utilize it. Second, so these small stars that I have marked around are basically final tips. Basically, making use of podcasts and quick news apps. Okay, so when I was preparing for my WAT interviews, it was a pre-COVID world. I used to travel like 2 hours in the train to get to my workplace, go back, come back home, go there, come back home. Just tune into any podcast about recent news, some things, some development that are happening, some new ideas, or podcasts about entrepreneurship. Even news is online in audio format now. So I used to use that method. Got to know a lot of new things, and now I'm hooked on podcasts. Like 1 hour a day. It's just a very good and a quick means of consuming information. You have lots of data to consume, and this makes it very easy. And they explain it to you basically. So yeah, that's good there. The third point is knowing yourself in a field of expertise. This comes in very handy because they can twist and turn around questions on their own life. One of the first questions in an interview that you will be hit with is take me through your life journey. Okay, and if you're not able to explain yourself to them, I mean, yeah, you are your own best judge, right? You should know this inside out. And your field of expertise. Assuming you are a chartered accountant, assuming you are a CFA, you will be asked about various things. Questions on ethics, questions on law, questions on some cases that have come out. You might most probably have a finance-based panel. One or two of the interviewees, the interviewers on your panel would definitely be out of a background, a finance background, and they'll be able to grill you on it. Trust me, and you should know what you are speaking. You cannot just blabber your way out there. The fourth point is basically prepare common FAQs thoroughly. Like take me through your life journey, why MBA, tell me about your family, what will you do after an MBA. Everything, all this should be very clear in your head. Once you're very clear with this, what happens is the interviewer also feels your confidence, you radiate that confidence out of you. So in an interview, make it a very happy place for you. It will definitely become a happy place for the interviewer and in turn for everyone. Then the second last point is sound educated but eager to learn. What happens generally is after cracking CA, after cracking CFA, people tend to develop an air of uh, expertise around themselves. This is not a bad idea to go in with expertise, but definitely you should sound like you are eager to learn. Okay, because they are there to teach. If you sound very different to them, they might not appreciate it. Going further, staying alert and being ready to use your mind. Uh, Hi, can you hear me? Right? There's no disturbance. Is there?
No, no.
No.
Sorry, just give me a moment. Just
We are able to hear you very clearly and absolutely clear, crystal clear voice. Very nice voice.
hey guys, I'm just sorry. I felt there was a disturbance in my thing. You're fine now.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's all right.
You miss out on something earlier?
No,
It
it
was
was
fine
clearly
from
audible.
start itself.
Okay, understood. Sorry for that. I thought there was something wrong. Yeah. Stay alert and be ready to use your mind. This is basically the last point that I had. What happens in an interview setting is you might have heard from your family, friends, or from WhatsApp forward that these were certain IAM questions. This is what they asked you. This is what they asked previous candidates. Something like, yeah, what was the number of the train that you came in? What was the number plate of the taxi that you rode, or something? Which color Uber did you come in? Generally, this is not the case. If someone wants to pull your leg purposely, then definitely, yeah, they will try to make this a point. But no, majority of the time, this is not how interviews are staged. There will be questions around the answers that you give. Okay, suppose I ask you X, Y, Z, you repeat, you tell me the answer as A, B, C. Now I'll pick out B and maybe ask you and go deeper into why B. Okay, so just be ready to use your mind if you have blurted out something that you should not have had. And I think you should be good with this. Thank you for hearing me out. I'll just open the panel. Question and answer, something I hope you guys have made notes. If not, or anything else, you can just reach me out on LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, please make it a point to add a note as to how you know me. That would be great for me to know you guys. And what happens is that there's a flurry of invitations and it gets a bit messy there. So yeah, please add a personalized note. I'll be very eager to accept and interact with you even there and take it forward for them. But right now, yeah, question and answers, guys. It's open.
Yeah, see friends, for asking question and answer session in a very smooth manner, I request students to raise your hand so I can directly tell Arsh to, talk to that concerned person only. So Gauri Jakotia has a question, sir. So Arsh, first is Gauri Jakotia.
Yeah, sure, Gauri. Hi, Gauri.
Yeah,
Please go
Hi,
ahead.
it was really amazing to have you here. So I have one question, like if I want to do MBA after my BCom honors, so when should I start the study? Means at what time I should start?
So a general tip for everyone here would be that MBA would prefer an year or two of experience. Okay, you should know what you're getting yourself into first of all. You should know why MBA, and having a year or two of experience just makes it clear. I mean, this is my perspective on what I've seen people come, like what is the batch composition here at IIMs. However, yeah, as a fresher, it's not a bad idea to go for an MBA. It just opens a whole new lot of opportunities that you had. I'd say keep in hand like around 3 months to study if you're doing it on your own. Uh, if you're going for classes, they follow their own schedules. So please check out their websites, how they have their courses lined up. However, if you're studying on yourself, then 3 months would be a great timeline. I think 3 to 4 months should help.
Okay, thank you so much.
yeah.
Okay, no worries. Yeah.
So now I invite Vansh Jatin Mehta. Vansh, and if you can on your videos, that would really be appreciating if possible. Yeah, Vansh Jatin Mehta. Vansh, you can go ahead, beta.
Uh, hi, Harsh.
Hey, hi, Vansh.
Actually,
Yeah, please.
I'm currently in BCom honors program in NM, and obviously, like I have a couple of questions. So obviously, my first preference is like I don't want a couple of years in between MBA and graduating. I just want to enter as a fresher. So like, do I miss any opportunities even if by chance if I enter into any the top three IMs? And one more thing is like I am not planning to do CA or any other professional course with BCom. So like how can I build my profile even though if I get 99 percentile, say I get 99 or 98 percentile. So like if I get called from IIM, but after in the interview, like what would make me sound good or make me that I'm capable of entering IIM?
Understood. Great question. Great question. So see, to be very honest, what an IIM from a administrative perspective that I see is that they will they compete with each other for the best placements. Okay. However good they get to place you, however, is dependent directly proportional to how good you are. That's a fact. Okay. And IIMs, generally the top three, have a lot more to offer than just placements. The campus is great. You meet extraordinary people there. Okay, you will get humbled in your first 2 3 weeks and as to what people have achieved in their lives and from where you've gone. However, since you don't want a bit of an extended work experience in between, and you do not plan to go for a professional course, that's completely fine. We have BCom honors people here at IIMs. 99, a good percentile is the first uh, hurdle that you need to crack. The second hurdle would be a bit of internship experiences or live projects that you've been into. Those help a lot. Okay. Uh, and the second thing that I'd like to point out is competitions, case competitions, stock trading competitions, festivals that the college hosts. This is a very good way to build up your CV, like internships and live projects and competitions. So these are the two cornerstones of the CV. Yeah.
And does being a part of a committee and conducting these events does it help immensely or
Definitely.
okay?
Definitely, it helps a lot. It helps a lot. It helps a lot. So I would bucket your entire resume into four parts. Okay, one is academic, that's education. Then you have your PORs. Okay, your PORs are positions of responsibilities. So these being a part of club committees, treasurer, etc., would fall in there. Then you have extracurrics. That's your sports, your literature, your dramatics, music, etc. And then what comes is awards and achievements. Okay. So yeah, you can bucket your entire life into these four buckets. and try to strengthen each and every bucket and then move forward for an MBA. That will help you a lot during your MBA too.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Shardul, would you like to have any question, beta? Shardul?
Yes, sir. Hi,
Okay.
Ash.
Yeah.
My
Yeah,
question is that is work experience important to get into an IIM?
I would say yes. As to what I have seen, I would say definitely yes. Work experience at a great firm, at a good firm like the Big Fours or someone with a great name, would add a spark to your CV. They know that you are capable of working in such a high pressure or a highly demanding environment, and this is what they need to check, right? I mean, an IIM 2 year at IIM is no joke. You will be having sleepless nights. Sorry for that. This is a very clear picture. You will sleep for 4 hours. You will wake up. You will sleep late. You will wake up. Uh, it's a high pressure environment. So if you are able to deal with that, this is what they want, right? From students. So, this
Thank
is what
you.
you want to use.
Yeah, Shardul, is that answer your question, beta?
Yes, sir. I'm
Okay.
done.
Darsh Shah. Darsh
Yes,
Shah.
sir.
You can go ahead, beta.
Yes, sir.
Darsh.
So basically my first question was like, so like your any like previous grades or anything else does matter in your CV or something, like the grades you have scored in your schooling and junior college and everything, does that affect your CV?
They do. They do. To be very honest, they do. So the composite score that they calculate to call you for interviews in the first place is a combination of your previous grades and your CAT grades. Okay. So these two buckets would take certain weightages as per the institute, and then they will call you for the interview.
And so secondly, like as we know, like we are competing with the engineering students and science students as well. So like how should we like basically have our mindset like with competing like that? That we see that most of the top seats are taken by them only, and we being a commerce student, do we have a disadvantage or something like that?
I would say you don't have a disadvantage. I would say you have an advantage. Okay. I'll go that far and tell you that you have an advantage. You have the diversity advantage. Every institute would require diverse people. Okay. They come from very different fields. I have seen doctors. I've seen, so yeah, engineers 70% of the batch definitely. That's their bread and butter there. But in my batch I have like around what, uh, 20 CAs, 22 CAs. We have 22 CAs here. So and we have like around 10 to 15 DU students also, DU SRCC, BCom honors, economics honors guys. But yeah, your past scores do matter a lot. Do matter a lot.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. So Nitant Kaushik, beta, you can ask the question. Nitant Kaushik.
I just I just wanted to know what's a good attempt in CAT. For example, some people say that you should just clear your cutoff, whereas others are of the view that you just just utilize time as much as you have and go on solving the questions as much as possible. But that's a double-edged sword, because if you keep on solving more and more questions, you might get them incorrect, you might get them wrong, and then that might affect your score. So how should be our
True.
strategy?
So that's great, Nitant. You've spoken to people around. That's good. The CAT paper is divided into three parts, right? You'll definitely have a strong part and you'll have a weak part. For me, the strong part was English, and my weak part was logic for some reason. I don't know. I could still handle maths a bit. People find maths difficult. I uh, I could handle maths, but I was very bad on logic. Um, so I use my prep time to actually build that. What you should target for is a score 150 plus. Okay, a 150 plus score is generally 98, 99 percentile. That could land you a very good interview call. Also, yeah, there is the concept of negative marking. So you have to make your own strategy. Your strategy cannot be run of the mill strategy. You will need to see what you are good at, what you are bad at, and what you can handle. Okay, beach like 50% chance wala. The entire thing is a game of probability. So if you maximize the chances of scoring, you will end up with a great score. And how do you maximize the chance of scoring? By knowing the points where you cannot score. Okay, I could not score on geometry in mathematics. My weak part was geometry. I did not attempt even one geometry question in the paper, in the final paper. Circle आता है मैं देख के छोड़ देता हूँ, मतलब क्योंकि नहीं हो रहा सॉल्व. Okay. So find out your core areas. Find out where you're good at. Find out where you're bad at. Solve 40 plus papers. You will definitely come to know where you're good at and bad at out of these papers. Okay, once you sit down with them, analyze your papers. So I think this should be a good way to go.
Thank you.
So only last question, sir. I heard, sir, anything like what is the like basically will be the importance of time management while giving the paper, like how to divide your time into these 3 subjects and all.
So that is divided for you. Pehle se. The rules are 1 hour for each subject. So that should not be a problem.
Okay.
Obviously, once you get into the mode of reading and getting more into the exam, you will definitely come to know some of the smaller nuances of the paper. So you will try to time yourself accordingly, basically, as per those nuances.
Yes, friends. Okay. So Pari has a question in the chat. So Arsh, she is asking that any good MBA classes in Mumbai. Basically, she is asking about CAT.
Yeah,
any good CAT?
So I personally did not take classes because I did not have the time to invest in classes because I was working. I don't know which classes are good or bad. Sorry for that, but I can tell you as per the statistics that I have from the people that are in my batch, those who did classes. Career Launcher, CAD King, just to name a few. Then you have Time. Yeah, these 3 I guess are the major ones that people take. So you can talk to people who went there. That will help, I guess. People who took classes. So a very good thing to prepare yourself for CAT or an MBA Live or even generally is going on LinkedIn and reaching out to people who have actually done that. So once you are in that zone, you will keep on developing it and you talk to a few people, build up your networks. People are ready to help. You just need to reach out to them. People are ready to help 100%.
Yeah. So friends, any other question? Yes, Nitant has also sent one question. I will just tell you, Harsh, how do you deal with the doubts that arose while you were preparing, given that you didn't go for coaching?
Sure. I had a textbook with me. So wherever I read the textbook just once. Wherever I felt there was a doubt while solving the papers or where I went wrong, I should go back to the textbook and read that part. That's it.
So, any other question, my friends? Yeah, Gauri, go ahead, beta.
Yeah, actually, as you are a CFA and I am also planning to do CFA. So, like, if I have cleared one exam, like level one, after my graduation, and then I go to pursue MBA, and then after that I complete the second 2 levels. So, is it that will be good, or first completing CFA and then doing MBA, that will be good?
See, everything depends on how and in what time frame are you able to crack the CFA exam. At least level 1. Okay, if you need time to prepare for level 2 and level 3, doing with MBA is very difficult. Okay, I'll come to why it is difficult a bit after the questions, because I have five minutes to talk about an MBA Live too. What is actually you're getting yourself into. So doing it with MBA is difficult, especially level 2, which requires a lot of calculations, and level 3, which requires in-depth study. Now CFA level 3 is a different giant in itself. So doing it with an MBA would be difficult. I would suggest that so I am a very big pro WorkX guy. Okay, I would want people who get into MBA to have a certain kind of WorkX, just to prepare themselves for what they're getting into and what they're expecting out of an MBA. So if you can manage work and CFA exams, there will be nothing better than that. Okay, trust me. you will get your work ex card 2 years, 3 years, whatever, and you will crack your CFA exams, and then you can go for an MBA easily. And a very good reason for going into an MBA is for a career change or a career leap. And if you tell this in your interviews, trust me, they know that you have the know-how and you know what you're doing. Okay, and they appreciate people going for a career switch or a career change. So, and that's a very valid reason.
Okay, thank you so much.
So Arsh, I think there is no more questions now. So you can go for the final thing which you were thinking in your mind. Yeah,
So I think there was one thing in the chat.
yeah, just it came now. So I will tell
Yeah,
you. One should ask. I've heard that they accept only national level and state level extracurricular and co-curricular level activities. Is it true?
true. So while filling out your CV and submitting your scores for the interview process, they need certificates at national and state level. So if that is possible, then fine. However, see, I did not have any certificates or anything like that to present to them at the state or national level. Whatever I did was at the zonal level or the district level at max. Okay, so I did not have any certificates to present. However, it is a very good talking point in the interview. Okay, majority of the marks are reserved for the interview process, and if you can crack that interview with flying colors, you're good to go. Yeah, I mean, you're good to go.
So like if we don't have any of these, like how can we compensate it? Do you have any other ways? Like you told, one way was to conduct events in case study competitions and
Yeah.
take part in committees, take part in different competitions. Is there any other way, or it is very limited, or
So I'll tell
just
you.
lose a
Yeah,
chance?
yeah. So coming to, okay, I'll just mix and match my bath. So I'll talk about A, B, and C. Okay. The process at A, B, and C. I am Ahmedabad, I am Bangalore, and I am Calcutta. I am Calcutta is very much focused on the CAT marks. Okay. I am Bangalore is balanced in previous acads and your CAT marks and your interviews, everything. And IMA is a bit more focused on your previous academics as well as they take into consideration the CAT mark. So your task, the next task should be going on to these websites of these IMs and checking out their evaluation criteria. This is what they call as evaluation criteria. Every year they release this document. This will give you a great idea of how they score people. It's very transparent. The scoring is transparent. You'll get to know what all criteria you have good and what all you lack. So you can build as per that criteria.
Thank you so much.
Hello. Yeah, Ash, I have a question here.
Sure.
Yeah, Ash, as a student of a BCom honors or a normal BCom, my interest is only in attendance. And nowadays the lectures are online. I simply log in and don't bother to attend lectures at all. Will that make any difference in my knowledge or learning or selection in MBA?
100%, Professor, 100%. I'd like to point out that if at IMB, if I had slept through a lecture or something because the timings are not matching, I had to put in double the amount of efforts to come back on track, and that's generally a time waste. Okay, that's not feasible. That's not even economic. That's not what an accountant does. So that's wrong. At the BCom level, you need to have your basics right. Right, I cannot stress on the word right. You're stress enough on the work right. You need to have your basics so strong that you if I turn the page and ask you a question in the middle of the night, you should be able to answer me the correct answer with the correct definition. Okay, that's right. You need to have your basics right, and this cannot be compensated by self-study, at least at the basic part. Okay, so getting lectures, getting through guidance of professors is very important. This will also help you at an IM. Okay, where you will definitely need to listen to lectures. There will be certain subjects you know from the start. There will be subjects you do not have a clue about. Listening to these subjects will give you the finer aspects that you need, not just for examinations, but also for job interviews, for going ahead in life. I'll give an anecdote from my lecture on strategic leadership. I had this course in term 3 in my first year called strategic leadership. For that, we had to prepare cases, read a particular case of like 1 page, and go into the class and answer certain question that professor asks us. Okay. Now the professor in question here is the first Bain Fellow of India. His cases are referred all across India at all IIMs. Okay, people from other IIMs have asked me that have you studied under this professor, and I am one of the lucky ones to have studied under that professor. He was so good. The point was he had a 1-pager case. Till then, we were thinking about it financially, strategically, competitively, through all aspects. He had that last lecture, taking a business case, he had structured it about life. Okay, you cannot undervalue or underestimate the power of not attending that lecture, not being present. If I had switched off my videos and gone to sleep in that lecture, I would have missed out on a lot. Okay, and this happens in every lecture. Every lecture you get to know something that you have not learned earlier, even in accounts. Even in accounts, trust me. You might have done accounts for 5 years, 6 years of your life, but still in accounts you'll get to know something different that you might have missed or might not have paid much attention to. So this is a basic kind of an example that I could have given you. I can't stress more on this. Yeah.
Thank you, Us. I hope it is an eye opener for all the students attending here.
So I'll take 5 more minutes if you guys are fine with it. I'll just run you through a life at IIM. Okay, I just want to converse with you guys. Is that an IIM is a very challenging world, okay, to get yourself into. You have to prepare your mind from day 0 that you're putting yourself into a highly competitive atmosphere, a highly active atmosphere for that matter. At IMB, I have gotten a chance to play sports. Okay, every day I was on campus, I went to play sports. Okay, every day, either badminton, be it badminton, carom, football, or even basic frisbee, man. I mean, every day you get to play sports. You have to attend classes compulsorily. Attendance is compulsory. Being present in the class is compulsory. You have projects, you have submissions, you have deadlines, you have midterm exams, you have placements, you have case competitions, you have strategic competitions. Then you have dancing. You have everything going on at the same time. These 2 years, trust me, on campus would be the 2 best years of your life. However, it will be very challenging, very time consuming. I have been awake the entire night doing a particular submission, but I had 100 other students doing it with me. Okay, so you will never feel alone even on campus. You'll have to live on campus. So don't feel that you're leaving your homes, because we know commerce students don't have a campus as such, so we do not go outside our cities, our homes. It is one of the experiences that you should have in your life. Getting into IIM also. So last time I was on my student exchange. I was in Europe. I was in France. On my student exchange, I roamed about France, Italy, Belgium, Luxembourg, Germany, Switzerland, Netherlands. Counted. I have been to 11 countries in the last 2.5 months across 40 cities, because IIM gave me that opportunity. IIM gave me the chance to go there in the student exchange program. This was one of the great things that you could do. You have clubs here. You have finance clubs. You have consult clubs. You have business clubs, economics clubs. You have dance clubs, comedy clubs, drama clubs, music clubs. There's an entire life out here, but it's very challenging. It takes out a lot of time. It needs effort from your part. So if you're getting yourself into that, please be very sure of what you're getting yourself into. Okay. I can speak for IIM Bangalore. It is a friendliest atmosphere here. I can reach out to anyone at any part of the day or night, and I will get help. I will get an answer. Even my seniors, I have reached out to my alums for placements, for my CV verifications, for my vetting of my CVs, getting them as guest speakers for my club. and it is very easy. That network makes it very easy to reach out to people. That's a fact. Okay. Um, no one double guesses to accept my LinkedIn invite now. I faced a lot of issues earlier. People did not accept my LinkedIn invites. Now, if I write I am on my LinkedIn page, they accept it in 2 seconds, man. They just see the invite and they accept it, and it opens a lot of doors for you. You can reach out to lot many people. We hosted like the partners of India's biggest venture capitals. Okay, we've hosted 4 or 5 people who are the partners of India's biggest venture capitals. I could not reach them as a professional earlier, but I am open those doors for me, just for guest speaking session, man. And if you guys are interested in stock markets, I hosted a session with Mr. Saurabh Mukherjee, who was the CEO of Ambit Capital and now owns Marcellus Investments. So yeah, it gives you such great opportunities. I have interacted with Kiran Prabhuchandra Shaw. I have asked her questions in an open forum. We have had guest lectures by I can name a lot of them. We had the CEO of Bank of America, the global CEO of Bank of America, come here and give a lecture. You cannot find this experience elsewhere. IIM is this different world that you should actually aspire to come into. I mean, definitely aspire. You can definitely be here. And yeah, that's it. If you have any other questions about the life here or something in general, you can definitely take time out, reach out to me, hit me up on LinkedIn. Then we can take it forward from there too. Yeah, thank you very much for listening today. Thank you, professors, for this time. Always great to come back to NM and Metibai to take this time out, man. Always great.
Yeah. So, Satra sir. Hello, Satra sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, Arish is done with her. Yeah, sir.
I know. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I will propose a word of thanks. A wonderful session to have us, Chetan Kaka here, giving us, his life journey right from our 12th standard, Nathimanji College, then doing CA, CFA, and ultimately I am MBA. All as a commerce student, one student wants to become a chartered accountant, other student wants to complete his CFA study, third wants to go for IIM MBA. And here is a Chetan, Chetan's son Ash, who had all three in one. So it was a wonderful, great meeting. Ash, we wish him all the best for his future career. And thank you very much for all Nasumanji students, Metibai students, and all other college students who are here to have a wonderful evening with Ash. Thank you very much. Thank you, Afis, for hosting this particular Interact Meet. Thank you very much. Thanks all. Goodbye. Have good evening to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, and have a pleasant evening and a weekend. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Ash. Thank you.
Yes, so we are ending up with this meeting. Thank you. It's automatic.
ફર્સ્ટ 3 લેનમાં જવાનું આ લેનમાં કેશ ને બધું હજી ચાલે છે એમાં બહુ વાર લાગે
એટલે મને તો ખબર નથી આ તો છે અહીંયા ફાસ્ટેગ લખ્યું છે ભારતમાં
ભાઈ બધામાં લખેલું બધામાં છે જશે નહીં હવે અરે